A lot of players underestimate the power of set pieces. They don't really put any effort in and just always go with the same uninspired approach, having no real idea on how to score with it. But actually, even just a simple throw-in can be the beginning of a great attack, which ends up you scoring a goal. This video has one target: getting you ready with working strategies for free kicks, corners and throw-ins. So here are the best variants to have an impact. Let's start with free kicks, and while the mechanic on how to shoot free kicks isn't actually new this year, in FC 25 free kicks are a real weapon. As soon as you have a free kick around the box in a central position, there is an immediate threat of scoring a goal. So let's get the foundations first. In FC 25 we have a reticle that we move with the right stick. This determines how we kick the ball. With the trajectory preview line we can see how this influences the flying path of the ball. This is pretty logical. When you move the reticle to a lower position, you shoot the ball higher. When you move the reticle to the side, you add side spin. For the start, let's focus on shooting the free kick as an inside foot curled. This means your player shoots the free kick with the inside of their foot. That is the default position of the reticle. Now we have basically 4 ways to put it into the net. We shoot it around the wall on the inside, we shoot it around the wall on the outside, we shoot it over the wall, we shoot it towards the goalkeeper side of the goal. When we shoot around the wall, we need as much side spin as possible. So we move the reticle to the side, but also a bit lower to get some height into the free kick. Shooting it around the wall on the inside is one of my favorite techniques, especially if you have a free kick taker with a lot of shot power. So you just align the preview line so that it goes around the wall but away from the center of the goal as much as possible. Even when the opponent is putting a player on the line, you have a chance of banging the free kick in. That's why it's my #1 strategy. Also, one important learning here is don't shy away from powering up the free kick quite a lot. If you have a good free kick taker with a lot of free kick accuracy or the dead ball playstyle, you can easily get away with 3 bars of power or higher without having too much spread in your shot. That is a big change to the free kick systems in the last few years. Too much power was a free kick killer. This year you can hammer the ball in. Talking about hammering it in, some of your opponents will also move the goalkeeper away from the goalkeeper side behind the wall to have a better chance of saving free kicks that go around or above the wall. Then they leave the goalkeeper side of the goal very vulnerable. In that case, adjust the preview line that the flying path of the ball will end up towards the goalkeeper side. I prefer to have curved towards the goal, not away from. This makes the aiming a bit easier. You just have to imagine how the preview line continues so that the free kick ends up on goal. If you did a good job, there's a very good chance that the goalkeeper is too far away and doesn't have a chance of saving your shot. With these 2 approaches, you already have a good set of options to be a threat with free kicks. But what if the inside foot curled variant is curling it to the wrong side and you only have 1 good free kick taker in your team? That's the beauty of it. All that I have explained so far, you can also use it for an outside foot curved free kick. Here you place the reticle at the other side, adding curve by shooting the ball with the outside of the foot. So you can use this as well very nicely to shoot around the wall on the inside and to the goalkeeper side of the goal. With the outside of the foot, the free kicks above the wall work also a bit better. Here you have to lower the position of the reticle a bit to get enough height into the free kick, and I wouldn't power up as much as the free kick also has to dip in order to hit the goal. In general, the outside foot curled free kicks are phenomenal, and if I have the option to choose between inside or outside foot curled, I would prefer the latter. So far I haven't talked about shooting it around the wall on the outside. From my experience, those are quite hard to pull off, especially if you are too close to the goal. With a shorter distance, the ball doesn't have enough time to curl enough to get around the wall and still be on goal. That's why this is only a viable option when you are further away from the goal, so the ball can curl enough. Or the opponent repositioned the ball and moved it to the inside. Then the ball doesn't need to curl as much to hit top bins. As you can see, there's a lot to discover and try out when it comes to free kicks. We have 3 in-depth tutorials about the basics of free kicks and then provide specific instructions for inside and outside foot curled free kicks in our Set Pieces Mastery course, alongside other tutorials about set pieces. So if you're still struggling with free kicks, I highly recommend checking it out by clicking the icon in the top right corner or the link in the video description. Next up we have corners, and I will present to you my default strategy. The idea is pretty simple. We try to get the ball towards this area at the near post, select a player who's good in aerial duels, and then hammer the ball into the net. Sounds good, right? So how to accomplish this? First, here are the steps for an inswung corner. This means the natural curl is towards the goal. This is the case for a right-footed player for a corner on the left side and a left-footed player on the right side. Don't touch the right stick to adjust the position of the reticle. Leave it in the default position. Line up the preview line with a penalty spot, but move it a bit further away from goal. Before you power up the corner, press L1 or LB to switch to a player inside the box. Now you can power up around 2.5 to 3 bars. The camera angle switches and you can move the receiver in a better position to win the aerial duel. Switch to a player who's strong in aerial duels by pressing L1 or LB several times if necessary. Start moving this player to the near post and avoid getting blocked. At the same time, press the crossing button a second time and your player at the corner flag starts with the execution of it. When the ball is entering the box, start powering up your header by pressing the shooting button so you give your player enough time to start a nice animation for the header. Aim the header towards the goal, and if you execute this well, you have a very decent chance to head it in. I would also recommend going for a green timed finish. With a recent patch, EA nerfed the header accuracy quite a lot and you will see a lot of poor headers completely missing the goal. Green timing helps with that quite a lot, so as of now this is one of my top priorities when it comes to heading the ball. For a green timed header you have to press the shooting button a second time when your player makes contact with the ball. My tip to hit the green timing more often: don't try to react to this event you're playing making contact, because then you're most likely to slow, but try to anticipate when it will happen. You have a few frames that you can press the shooting button too early and it will still be green. It doesn't have to be pixel perfect. We can use a similar approach like this for another variant. This time it is an outswung corner, so the curl goes away from goal. This is the case when you have a right-footed player for a corner on the right side and a left-footed player on the left side. We have to change the aiming a bit. Here we line up the preview line with the middle of the 6-yard box line. That way the corner also ends up towards the near post area, so the following steps are pretty much the same. L1/LB to switch to a player inside the box, power up around 2.5 to 3 bars, move the player to the near post area, press the shooting button when the ball approaches and make sure to aim towards the goal. Green time it to increase the chance of success. Pretty easy as well. The great thing about these two strategies is that you don't have any hassle with precisely adjusting the reticle and that you aren't required to have a specific corner taker with a dominant left or right foot. You can just use your set piece specialist and then use the fix point to align the aiming of the preview line. This strategy falls into pieces when the opponent pulls out the goalkeeper, because then the goalkeeper will just grab the ball out of the air and you don't have a chance of winning the aerial duel. You could try to aim a bit further away from goal, and I also had success with that in the past. But we also have a strategy on how to really punish those opponents that are too aggressive with their goalkeeper positioning. It's a bit more complicated to explain, but you can get an idea by just looking at the examples. If you're interested to get an in-depth explanation, just click on the icon in the top right corner or the link in the video description. This is also part of our Set Pieces Mastery course. And the next time you have a corner and already scored like this, the opponent will think twice whether they move their goalkeeper as far out. Those strategies really balance each other out very well. At last, we want to talk about throw-ins. Even in the elite division, I face opponents that carelessly just throw the ball in and then lose ball possession on their own throw-in. This should never happen, and it won't happen with the right strategy. Throw-ins are super easy when you switch away from the player at the sideline. Use the right stick and flick it to the direction of a teammate. Now you have control over that player. You can reposition them, get them open and unmarked. Then press X or A and you should be able to control the ball safely. But here comes the kicker. Good opponents will notice that and react to your player switch and start marking your player. You can use this as bait. Bait out the opponent's player and then switch to another player with another right stick switch. All of a sudden you already get the ball into a situation at which the opponent is a bit under pressure because they have to compensate for their aggressive attempt of marking the other player. This can be the start of a great attack and end up in a decent chance or perhaps a goal. For this bait and switch, I usually try to move the one player away from the other player that I want to throw the ball to. That way I have the best chances to create an open teammate. The options are limitless. You can use several player switches, reposition your players in the meantime and move into the open spaces. At some point it's a lot about mind games. Do you actually throw it to the open player or will you do another switch? You just have to make sure that you find the right balance between opportunity and risk. Getting the ball safely to a teammate should be priority number one. With a lot of those throw-ins, you might end up in situations on the wing. What to do next? You can find that out by watching our complete wing play guide. Just click on the video in the middle of the screen right now. Thanks for watching. Keep a clean sheet. I'm out.